full.
This is going to come in so handy when I read at the movies. No, people don't want that, right? Hi, Judy. So, but think about it. When you're in your car and it's really dark and you don't want to put on the, look at this.
Where did you get those?
In New York, but
They
you
sell
can
them
get
here. I got them here. I've had them
Where?
for months. Oh, well, it's at the Barnes & Noble had them, but
Yeah.
I've seen them at Gelson's has them now.
All right, but if you go online, I can't read without my glasses to tell you whose they are. But
I read in bed with them. They're great.
yeah, they're so hysterical, but they're better for comic relief.
Yeah.
It's really good to go into the movies, and as soon as they start the coming attractions, put them on and start reading a book. It's fabulous.
I really need them.
Okay.
I see without them.
Okay. What? All right. What is the measure of a man? Money? Success? How is success measured? If it's by showering the people you love with love, then Larry Katz was a king amongst men. He always made me feel loved. He showed me. His actions demonstrated it all throughout my life. My dad called me sweetheart every time he saw me. He held my face in his hands, and when he kissed my cheek, I really knew I'd been kissed. There's something so loving in that. My parents divorced when I was 9. My father worked 2 jobs, one in Queens and one on Long Island. But he moved back to the Bronx so that my brother, who insisted on living with him, could be closer to his friends. My dad called me every day and tried to comfort me in my loneliness for him. He drove a gazillion miles to come pick me up every Friday. I lived for those days. Sundays became a torturous hell of sadness at having to leave him. Do you guys have that Sunday feeling? I don't know if it's just kids of divorce. You know that Sunday feeling? I don't know, because I've had it my whole life. And I only didn't have it in the happy years of my marriage. But you know that Sunday, a lot of people have that Sunday feeling, right?
No, when I gave my kids back on
Yeah,
Sundays.
for a multitude of reasons, a lot of us have that Sunday feeling. Anyway, less than a year later, my mother moved she and I across the street from the Katz men, and I was saved, sort of. My father and I continued to spend weekends together, with nary a block separating us. We spent many a Saturday walking the streets of Greenwich Village arm in arm. People would look at him funny, thinking I was his date, because we were so happy and connected. He was flamboyant, exuberant, and passionate. We toured through the streets and shops laughing and spending money he could ill afford. One sunny afternoon on a lark, we found ourselves in front of a theater. Inside, Woody Allen and Diane Keaton were performing Play It Again, Sam. Thanks to a last-minute cancellation, we nabbed front row seats. We never did stuff like that. But one of those kinds of memories is all you need. There was the other side, too. He disowned me for a week or two when I fell in love with a Goyim. He got over it quickly. Me? Not so much. Father did know best, although it had nothing to do with religion. We had a few sticky times over the years, but I loved him madly. He also occasionally drove me mad. He was flawed. He was human. And it was rough finding that out. But it allowed me to begin to accept my own humanity. About 8 years ago, I was in the midst of living through my mother-in-law's Alzheimer's when my father began to lose things and forget a lot. And it was terrifying. At first, no one believed me, but I knew. And I started calling him every day. After a couple of years, pull out chairs, ladies. After a couple of years of ongoing touch-and-go high drama, with the steadfast, loving support of my brother Jan, we transitioned my dad from his independent, performing in Florida life to Las Vegas, where my brother spent the next 5 years overseeing his care with great love and attention. As the Alzheimer's progressed and recent memories faded, my dad always knew that Jan and I were his family. He just wasn't sure how. The daily conversations, though shorter, always continued to be filled with words of love. Hours before my dad slipped into unconsciousness in the throes of fatal congestive heart failure, his voice almost completely unrecognizable, he sang and entertained the other patients in the emergency room. His last words to me were, "I love you, sweetheart." Wow. Larry Katz, father, brother, papa, uncle, friend, mentor, teacher, and always the entertainer. Leaves a legacy of song and love that will last forever. Every time I shed a tear, say a word of love, take someone's hand, it's him. Every time I stand at a podium, take a stage, it's him. Every time I sing, not so much. Why is that? It's not there. Shit. Oh, Larry Katz, this one's for you. I just wish I was reading a better chapter. Thanks. All right. You can use some pictures before. No pictures till I fix my bed. No pictures till I fix my bed.